So, you just bought this camping tent. How do you set it up? Well, contrary to popular belief, you probably should read the directions before it really matters. One of the things that I used to do if somebody were to come on a backpacking trip with us or a camping trip with us is I'd give them the tent long before they were going to need to set it up. Have them set it up, work through the processes. As they got comfortable with setting up this new tent, then I'd blindfold them. Have them do it blindfolded in tough situations, because that's probably when you're going to need to set up this tent. It's going to be dark, it's going to be windy, it's going to be raining, whatnot. So get really comfortable with how to set up your new tent long before you're going to need it. So get familiar with how the poles go together, where the junctions are, how they all fit. Okay, most of the poles on a tent today are shock loaded, so you don't really have to worry too much about how they all go together. Now, this is not a really great quality tent or anything like that, but it goes together extremely easy. These are fiberglass poles, not the best in the material market, but they certainly, work real well. And then what you do is on your tent fly or on your tent body, there's usually a track where those poles are just going to slide right in through the material. Put all the poles in place, and that's going to create the shape of your tent. Now, another thing to consider when you're setting up your tent is where it is. Making sure that there's nothing overhead that can fall on you at night. I was one time in Rocky Mountains, came along a hiking trail, and a tree had fallen over somebody's tent during the day. There was a note on it from the ranger saying, "Sorry about that, glad you weren't home." So look around you, make sure that there's nothing that can fall on your tent in high winds or storms or something like that that could hurt you. Another thing is think about water. Where is the water flow for the area? If you're pitching your tent in a low area and you like water beds, that's great. Okay, most people don't like sleeping on or in water. So pick a raised area that's going to be out of a main water area. Okay, so again, spend a little bit of time looking at your area, thinking about where you want to sleep. Last thing to consider is what's underneath you. Okay, are you sleeping on rocks? Are you sleeping on roots? Are you sleeping on tree stumps? Find something that's comfortable. And of course, put a ground cloth underneath your tent. Make sure that the tarp is not sticking out from the edges of the tent so that water can drip off your fly and go onto that rain cloth and come up underneath your tent. Thanks very much. Happy camping.